So what is an emergency LED light bulb? And the most famous name you could probably search and find is called Lifelight. Well, it's basically a regular light bulb with a battery backup that charges when you turn the light on. And then when you lose power, the battery takes over to give you light. So how in the heck does this work? So in this picture, I have a main feed going through a breaker in your breaker panel. And we're going to pretend like we're feeding a bedroom. So this is the light switch on the wall, and this is the light above your head in the bedroom. And when you tie a circuit like this, you have to have what they call the hot leg and the neutral. And the neutral usually ties to the neutral bus inside the breaker panel. So here we have power in red, and I'm going to turn on this regular bulb. And this could be an LED or incandescent bulb, no mystery. But we have a flow of current going from the breaker panel through this breaker, through this switch, through the bulb, and back to the neutral bus. Now we're going to replace this with an emergency LED. When we close the switch or turn it on, we still have that flow, and we still have a light that comes on, but at the same time, we're charging an internal battery. And when we turn the light off, we're no longer charging that battery. Now, usually when you're feeding a room or a section of a house, you're not just feeding one thing. So there's other things tied to the same circuit. In this example, I put in this outlet, and we're going to keep it simple and just plug in another light bulb. When I close the switch, we're charging the battery, light comes on. It has no effect on anything else tied to that circuit. And when you turn it off, it's off. Now let's lose power. In this example, I killed the breaker, but this could be a main power outage. We no longer have power to the circuit, but when I close the switch, this light still comes on. How does this work? Well, if you look in blue, the battery inside this device sees a path. It comes out here, goes across the switch on the wall, goes into whatever other device it can find, and back to the neutral bus. So this neutral and this neutral are the same point, and this picture better shows that. And you might be able to see the path better now. Can you see the path? From the battery, through your switch on the wall, through some other device, could be anything tied to this in parallel with this light, in this case through this light bulb, and back again. And that's how this emergency LED bulb knows to turn on. When the power restores, the system senses the power is back and goes back to charge mode. So let's look at what happens when you tie this emergency LED bulb in with another bulb. So I'm talking about if you have a light fixture with 2, 3, 4 bulbs tied together, look what happens. As soon as I put the system together, I take out a bulb and I put this one in. This other bulb could be any other regular light bulb. And I have the switch turned off. The battery is going to take over, and this is going to immediately light up. And that's because it sees the alternative path. So that's why you can't use emergency LED bulbs in fixtures that have multiple lights. So the only way to know if you can use an emergency LED bulb in a certain place in your home is to test it and see if it works out. Now for the geeks in the audience. Here's one main feed on a breaker panel. Here's the other. Here's your main breaker that can shut off both of these at the same time. There's your neutral bus. Right here's your neutral bus. All these white leads are neutral. And here's a breaker feeding the hot leg through this wire. And this could be what was feeding our imaginary bedroom. So there you go. There's how emergency LED bulbs work.